So I'm going to try something new. I've never shot a video like this. So bear with me if it comes out kind of crappy. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get better. But this is going to be the first one that I'm going to do from this particular location. So we've done all these Iron Legion Pack Experience videos in the past, and they've been great, right? I feel like they help out a lot. They are still viewable. You can still go back and get a lot of history and a lot of, we probably put out, I don't know, close to 10 videos this year, just kind of discussing and talking about, what you can expect out of Iron Legion and what kind of mindset stuff and nutrition. We've had a lot of really good videos. We got away from it for a second. I still want to touch base with you guys every once in a while, though, and just kind of keep the flow going, right? It's tough to reach out and talk to you guys one-on-one when there's so many of you at so many different schedules, right? I have a great team. I have a really badass staff, and we all kind of believe in a lot of the same ideals, and that we're in this for a reason because we're passionate about your goals. We want to see you guys succeed, and with that in mind, when those coaches talk to you at the five in the morning classes, or if I don't catch up with you, but you have touch base with a coach, you're I like to feel like, when you're talking to the coaches, you're talking to me too, right? And that's just the kind of the thing that we like to do around here. We all want to get better. We have coaches meetings every single week to talk about how to enhance your experiences here, how to make you guys get better, how to give you everything that you want, right? Whatever you're striving for, that's what we're here for, right? And we have a lot of talks about that. And recently, we've been talking a lot about the programming. A lot of you guys, when you first start out, you don't understand, or you may not know that we actually write programs, right? And programs are, something where it has an intention at the end of the program, or we're working towards a goal. It's not just that we're walking in and throwing some random shit on a whiteboard and then doing a workout. That's not who we are. We have a lot of intent when it comes to our workouts. And a lot of them are functional driven, in that we have goals set in mind. And the coaches, sometimes we're remiss from time to time to communicate to you guys what those particular goals are. And, we're only trying to get better at that. We're going to try to use a video format to do that more often, so you guys know exactly why we're doing the types of warm-ups that we're doing, or we're doing the types of setups that we're doing. All of it is intended to make you better, right? But if you're not communicated to about it properly, maybe you might be missing the point. It may feel like you're kind of doing empty stuff, and a lot of it is not empty stuff. It's a lot of really structural skill work. And for a lot of people that have been competitive athletes in the past, or you've been on a sports team, or you've been in a coached environment of any type, shape, or form at a high level, you know that the little small self-discipline movements are the things that separate you from the random guy that comes in to work out, right? All those little things that edge. I know lifters that literally they'll take 15 to 20, sometimes even an hour with a PVC pipe, just working on getting that thing perfect, man. Getting those drills down before they even put a weight on. And it's just muscle memory over and over, and it's monotonous and it's boring, right? But these are the top lifters in the world. Not much different when we're talking about our CrossFit classes. Obviously, we're not going to have you do monotonous, boring work all the time. We try to keep it exciting and fun, but there's always going to be some structural skill stuff in there that's going to kind of keep you safe, teach you how to be a little bit more efficiency at high rep movements, different things like that. There's thought, there's intent, there's a program to it, right? It's always fun, though, when somebody gets about 3 months into CrossFit here at Iron Legion and they learn the word program, and then they throw it around all the time. Who's doing the program? Who's doing the program? It's kind of insulting, because like we all do the programming, not one person. So like we're all kind of involved in it. But yeah, it always makes a coach laugh whenever you ask that. So keep that in mind. That said, let's talk about something that we talk about quite often, right? CrossFit. There's a definition for CrossFit, and all I'm going to do is kind of just go with the tip. I'm not going to go with the whole thing, right? It's really all it took for me to get my kids. So just a little bit here. So constantly varied, functional movement, constantly varied. Let's start with constantly varied. What does that mean? Constantly varied. We're always going to be doing something different, right? So we're not always going to do the exact same pattern every single day. That's a recipe for failure. Let other gyms do that. Let other people do that. Okay, we're not ever going to do the same thing all the time. This gym looks dynamically different than it used to 8 years ago. It looks different than it did last month, right? We're always, always, always evolving and always changing, always doing things different, not only for our fitness, but in our business, just because we have to stay in pace with everything that's going on out there, and we like to stay ahead, right? So we like to give you guys cutting edge stuff to keep you guys getting better and better and more successful, right? Functional movement. Functional movement is Functional movement is getting out of a chair. Functional movement is picking something up over your head. Functional movement are things that you're going to be doing in your day-to-day life, and you would be surprised a lot of the things that we're training on the floor in here, the turnover to your actual day-to-day life, especially if you have an active job like a police officer or a firefighter or a construction guy or an active type of person. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of translation over into a desk job. However, desk jockeys also get a lot of benefit from it because they get a lot of functional training that keeps the good, healthy balances going in your body, right? So if you're spending a lot of time at a desk, there's no better realm than this for that, right? And then the next one is the one I really want to talk about the most, right? Performed at intensity, right? Constantly varied functional movement performed at intensity. Now, a lot of you have embraced these things, and there's a lot more to the whole definition, but I don't need to go any further. There's a lot more to that, but like those of you that have embraced those things see a lot of success, right? For those of you that do not like to get comfortable, and some of you have been here for a couple of years and you've gotten very comfortable, you don't perform at intensity anymore, right? You Now that said, it's your time, you're here, but I know deep inside you had goals, right? But you found a comfortable way, and that's the funny thing about the human body is it's easy to look at a workout and say, I know how to do this with the least amount of energy expenditure as possible. I know because I do it sometimes too. I'm human, right? Believe it or not, I don't look it, but I am. The performing things at intensity is turning up the level, right? Always coming in and doing every time somebody has 95 pounds on the barbell, right? And always taking it down to 65 pounds every single time and never ever getting outside of that realm, right? That's getting comfortable, right? Doing burpees at the exact same pace, that's getting comfortable. Doing your wall balls the exact same way, that's you're doing things that's not constantly varied anymore, and that's not at intensity. You're finding a way to take the things that are in the definition of functional fitness and CrossFit of what we do, constantly varied functional movement performed at intensity, and you're making them comfortable. They're not supposed to be comfortable, right? Now, I digress. They need to be done safely and efficiently. That's what the skill work is for in front of the classes, teaching you how to do those types of things safely and efficiently so we can perform them later at intensity, right? So I don't want you willy-nilly just throwing shit around over your head because I said perform it at intensity. No, I want you to learn the movements, become efficient at the movements, do them exceptionally well, and then turn up the intensity. And a lot of you can do this, but you're not. You're always taking the weight down. You're always taking the scale down to where it's comfortable, right? You're going to the exact same green band every day instead of trying to remove that once in a while. You're only going to the single under on the double under day, right? You're not trying shit anymore, and you've got to be able to push the envelope. You're not going to get any better, right? People get frustrated like this, right? They're not advancing, and they end up getting into this rut where they're just doing comfortable things. Now, some of them embrace it, and they're just happy to be part of the community, and we love having you here as well. But we also want you to get better, right? I know you want to get better. I know you want to turn it up. So the next time you get an opportunity to turn it up, try. If you need help with that, come see me. If you need help with that, come see any coach on the floor. Hey, I would like to put a little more intensity in this workout. I have been here for 2 or 3 years, and I really want to get off of this goddamn green band that I'm doing pull-ups in that I've been in for 3 years. What am I doing wrong? So it's okay, right, to ask those questions. We probably have answers for you, but that's the other part of it. You're going to have to hear those answers. You got to be able to be coached, right? That's another thing a lot of us struggle with when you come into a CrossFit environment if you've never been on a sports team before. If you've never been coached, this is a difficult world in that somebody is asking you to do something in a different way. It's typically not a very comfortable way, right? That's being coached. Those coaches are trying to take you to another level, to try to take you and make you better, right? And continue to push you to get better, right? by ignoring them all the time and only doing what you're comfortable doing, you're not being coached anymore. You're not being coachable, right? And we see that a lot with people that cycle out, right? They'll cycle out of the group and they'll end off working off on the corner by themselves. And you can pretty much set a watch to it. In about a month or two, they're going to be drafting out of here, right? They're not clicking. They weren't coachable to begin with, right? And so they're going to move on. They don't understand that fitness is literally a game of inches, right? And you have to put in the time, right? Putting in the time, I think, is another thing that I have to stress more so than anything else. You come in here in the first 6 months, you see a ton of success. 3 months to 6 months, you're PRing everything. Your times are always getting better. Everything's getting good. And then you hit this natural plateau. And what is that natural plateau? More times than not, you're getting comfortable and you don't want to push it anymore. You're not trying to push outside of that envelope anymore. You're coming in and you're doing the workouts that you know how to do. You're putting the weight on that you know how to do, right? And you're not necessarily getting any better, and you just kind of cycle out, right? And you're just frustrated. You're like, I'm plateauing. And really what the issue is we've got to find a way to reinstitute intensity, right? And we love doing that. Come ask us about it. And when we notice it, we will bring it up. Don't ignore it, right? When we're pushing you to get better, sometimes it's said as a joke. Maybe it's taken the wrong way, but more times than not, we just want you to get better. We're trying to find a way to get you to turn up the heat a little bit so you can continue, you can push out of that rut, right? There's no real reason for you to have to take on 15,000 different fitness regimens in order to get fit. CrossFit literally has it all set up right here, right? You're in a coached environment. I want to get better, coach. Tell me what I need to get better. And if you need another level, right? You need another level, an accountability level. You want a little bit more nutrition accountability, a little bit more personal training style accountability, or any of that type of stuff. I'm running a special VIP program that you guys are more than welcome to jump on board with, but you have to come talk to me specifically about it. That said, that will take you to the next level because I'll be on your ass. Um, Careful with that because I'll give you success. That's what I do. Um, Constantly varied functional movement performed at intensity, not at comfort, right? So you've got to be self-driven for this. And a lot of people come to a coached environment because they're not self-driven at first, right? But it's something that you've got to start to embrace. You got to start to drive yourself, right? When you come into the workout, you're like, today is the day I'm grabbing that fucking bar and I'm going to put on those fives that I've been so scared about doing, and I'm taking that step today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take that 20-inch box and I'm going to turn it up to 24 today. Or I'm going to get a different size wall ball, or I'm going to push a little bit harder, right? You have to make those decisions yourself. Now, we're going to make those encouragements, but you ultimately are responsible for yourself. You're the captain of your own ship, man, and you should want to be the captain of your own ship, right? You've got to be able to turn that shit up all by yourself, right? We're here to guide you, keep you safe, give you recommendations, right? But you've got to be able to drive. You've got to be able to push to the next level. Self-driven people are what causes success, right? Oh, that's easy to say. You guys are already fit. I look at the coaches. You guys are already fit. Do you actually think that the coaches that are on the floor don't have bad days? Do you think that every single day all we want to do is come in and work out, right? And then every day, that's all we want to do. It's all about fit. Man, there are days, like Monday, for example, when it was raining, I didn't even want to leave the house. I didn't want to get out of bed, right? You think there's not a Friday or a Saturday where I don't want to just go out and smash food and beer all weekend? Sometimes I do, but I still put in the work afterwards, right? It's We're all normal and we all face our own little demons and issues and problems. It's being self-driven and motivated enough to sometimes say, no, I'm not doing those particular things. I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to eat this way because I have goals, right? For anyone out there in our community to actually think that our coaches aren't human and have no perspective to be able to talk from a human point of view as far as trying to achieve your goals, lose weight, and want to be better at things. I mean, that's literally what we do for a living, and it's how we live, and we talk the talk, walk the walk, right? We struggle with things just like you do, right? Some of us want to, maybe we're avoiding alcohol during the week. We have our kids screaming all the time, and we're constantly confused about whether we should be giving them this kind of food or that kind of food. We're human just like you, right? But we know that we've got to stay on task. We've got to take care of ourselves first. Priority number one is you. You take care of yourself, all that other shit gets in line, right? Your career is going to get better, your family gets better, your kids start to idolize you a little bit more, right? Because you're taking care of yourself. And if you become the role model for your family or for your people, right, it's just better all around. So you're taking care of number one, and everything else that you're supposedly sacrificing yourself for, right? By not working out and working yourself to the bone and doing too much of this or too much of that because you're doing it for everybody else. And the next thing you know, you're 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds overweight when all you really needed to do is take a second and prioritize you and your time. Come on, guys. You got to be self motivated. You got to have some common sense. You got to put yourself first. I know the noise is out there. I know the marketing message is out there. You're good enough. No, you're not. You got to push harder. You have to always push harder. You're not good enough. You have to push harder every single day. That's the point, right? If you're pushing, do you want your kid to think they're good enough, or do you want them to continue to get better, right? I want my kids to always get better. I want them to always be pushing to another level. I'm hoping you want the same for your kids, right? You should want the same for yourself. Always push a little bit harder. Try to get to a new level every single day, whether it's a one little rep higher or one little conversation that you had with somebody that helped someone out, or any little tiny thing that you can do to help, push yourself and become a better person. You should be trying to do that all the time, right? So all of us coaches, we're all human. We deal with that stuff too, right? But we also operate at a level in here, and some of you as members do too, and I love it, of insanity, right? When people come here and they meet us or they see us out, right, and they hear us talking, you guys are insane. You guys are crazy, right? But we're insane and we're crazy because we make healthy decisions and we like to push the limits and we like to be around other people that like to push the limits. We're striving to be more successful in our life, right? It takes a level of insanity to do that. It takes a level of discipline that is a basic level of insanity compared to the rest of the world, right? You step outside. If I walk across the street into one of these bars and restaurants out here, I'm the oddball, right? In here, I fit in with you guys. You guys fit in with me, right? But when we step outside, we're the oddballs in the world because we actually care about our own success. Those people don't care about their success. A lot of people that are very close to you don't care about your success either. If they were, and if they did, they'd be here with you, right? Or they'd be training just as hard as you. And they're not, right? So you got your own goals and things that you're focused on. You need to stay focused on those things. If your friends don't support your goals, you need new friends. If your family's not supporting your goals, you don't need to spend as much time with those guys, right? If your family's not on board with where you're going, sometimes it's pretty important to make that decision that, all right, I love you guys. I do. I always will, but I've got my own thing going on. I can tell you I can have a whole nother talk about that, right? Because you got to take care of number one. At the end of the day, it's you and your immediate family, right? You got to take care of you. So surround yourself with people who are on the same path as you, especially when you leave the gym. They're the only people that are going to be able to pull you out of that mess when you're at that restaurant getting ready to make that ridiculous decision to eat that whatever it is, right? Or to stay out too late and do that dumbass decision that you got in your head rolling around right now, right? Think about that kind of stuff, right? When you're out, hang with people that are keeping you in line, right? You're the sum of your next 5 friends. Are they that great, right? If they're not, get new friends. So constantly varied, functional movement, performed at intensity. The coaches are human. We struggle with stuff just like you. We can help you with things. That's what we're here for. We want you all to get better, right? We want you to be top performers in anything that you want to do, right? All we want is you to be successful. I want you to turn it up, right? When I've got, a coach brought this up to me the other day. She had a conversation with a member here on the weekend, and I've literally heard this myself time and time again. She asked if she could be on a team, and the person was shocked. She's like, I can't be on a team with you. You're so good, right? There's no way I could be on a level with you. I don't want to hold you back. That to a coach is kind of frustrating when that particular member or person's been here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, right? Why aren't you at that level? Why haven't you pushed yourself to that level, right? Why haven't you taken on the extra effort to get that much better, right? especially if we're looking at a year plus. Where are you at? Have you looked back at the goals when you initially started that you were so excited to achieve? Take a minute. Think about that first month when you came in. What were all those goals that you wanted, especially if you've been here for a year or 2 years? Write them down. I want you to write them down with a pen, and I want you to look at them, right? And I want you to ask yourself why you didn't get them. Because I know it wasn't my staff. I know we're here to help you, and I know that we're creating programs to get you there. You got to be self-motivated to do it. And I agree with that coach that it's sad when we hear that. I don't like to hear that because, after a year, 2 years, you should be right up there grinding just as hard as anybody else, right? So I I want to set that expectation a little bit higher for you guys. I want you to push for a little bit more, right? So that's pretty much all I've got to say today. Constantly varied functional movement performed at intensity. Think about that. GPP, General Physical Preparedness, is what we do here at CrossFit Iron Legion. I want you to be ready for anything at any time. And that's what we train for. We train for that, right? I'm out. You guys take care, have a good week, and I'll touch base with you in another week or two.